Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, episode 90, from the Lakebed, KOH 2021, here in the race trailer with Ultra4Jones.
Yeah, baby.
Kevin Jones, his co-dog, Robert, 518 race team. Gentlemen, how the heck are you?
Awesome. I mean, happy to be here. Having a great time.
Yeah, we're all happy to be here.
We are doing a lot better now.
There you go. And Chris is here. We're inside the race trailer.
Yes, we are.
It's approximately 1 o'clock on Tuesday. After qualifying, we want to get our listeners up to date of getting to this point right here on the lake bed. So, Kevin, you got down here Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah, that's correct. We drove down Wednesday.
Okay.
I got up early because I had an appointment at Power Steering Solutions in Hesperia at 8 a.m., so I left my house pretty early Wednesday morning.
And you were running on about 3 hours of sleep or something at that point?
Yeah, I finished packing the car and the tools and everything at like 1 a.m., and then got up at 5 a.m. and kissed the wife goodbye and hit the road.
Here we go. And then, so you went down to Power Steering Solutions because you had your brand new pump was given quite a whine.
Yeah, we were struggling pretty bad. It was a series of events that led us to installing the pump really late and getting the car fired up a lot later in the schedule than we wanted to. And as soon as we got it running, we realized that the pump was screaming.
Yeah, it was loud.
Which turned out to be basically the sound of cavitation.
Okay, so which is aeration in
the pump
system.
struggling to keep fluid flowing through it. So Charlie at Power Steering Solutions agreed to help me out if I could get it down to his shop. So I got up even earlier and drove straight to him.
There you go. So you got so immediately they kind of figured out something.
Yeah, I mean, he basically proved that cavitation was the problem,
right?
With a super secret little thing that's been driving everybody crazy that he just didn't want me to talk about. But we proved that cavitation was the issue. What we didn't know, because I still hadn't driven the car to that point, was when you fix the cavitation, but you still have far too much flow, you build a tremendous amount of heat.
Heavy flow day is what you had.
Heavy flow day.
You had a heavy flow day, and then so that you discovered after doing a pre-run on
so I left
Friday.
I left Charlie's. We got out here. We unloaded, set up camp, and we attempted to drive the car Thursday and made it 2 miles before the system overheated.
And so so we saw the Instagram post, and you were like registering 230 degrees or something.
Yeah, we ran race course for 2 miles and stopped. Thank God we stopped.
Yeah, we stopped at the fork between 1 and 2, lap 2. There's like a split right there, and was it you or was it? I don't know. Somebody was like, "I think we smell something." We're trying to figure out where to go.
Oh no!
And then I think as soon as we stopped and you looked at the GPS, I had smoke pouring out from under the steering column.
Yeah.
Holy hell!
And
there was smoke.
I was like, that ain't good.
That ain't right.
That ain't good.
Yeah, burning paint or something.
Yeah, so we shut the car down
and so it was power steering fluid. Which
every single part of the power steering system was
crazy hot,
far too hot to
touch. And power if it's engineered correctly, it should not be hot at all.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially in a Dodge.
He's got to try and get his Dodge.
He tries.
He tries.
He doesn't realize he's with 3 Ford owners.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
you are
right.
outnumbered right now.
Dodge. Ram trucks.
Yeah. Good luck with that. How many Dodges are racing out there? Not very many.
I haven't seen a lot.
Sponsored by Ford, KOH.
Where are you, Art? Come on, Arturo.
Yeah, Art is your savior in the
well, you
KOH
realize
world.
that the spec class had Dodge.
Yeah,
and they
right.
canceled that class.
I know, but Arturo has a Mopar powertrain.
Engines were blowing up, everything. All right, so back to power steering issues and solutions. So running hot, and I saw some of your Instagram posts like, okay, we're crazy high temps, something's wrong, what the heck's going on? So the next day, you went out and...
Well, we worked crazy hard Thursday night to just eliminate any possibility. So we pulled every hose, we flushed them, we blew through them, we looked through them with flashlights, because everybody said temperature is related to restriction. You have a restriction somewhere. Well, we eliminated every possible restriction and basically came down to the fact that we just had too much flow.
Too much flow.
The PSC pump did too good of a job.
It was, and that's part of it.
So luckily I've got a lot of connections now, so we were able to get a lower flow pump, PSC pump, in the car.
Immediately, that individual knew that this was your issue.
Yeah.
And they changed out the pump, and it's working great.
We have less power assist at idle, but luckily the car doesn't spend much time at idle.
Yes. So. But steering has been great since
Steering has been, knock on wood,
flawless.
All
right on.
Yep.
That's awesome to hear.
That's good because, it's all these things and all of your... Again, I don't know what to call it. I call it KOH prep that you were doing here, and I know that's a sticky thing with you. But you got the car's dialed, everything's good. You start it up, you go to the dyno, the belt's staying on, all this stuff that you were having issues with, and then you get out on the desert and you're cranking some crazy temps on the power steering system.
And steering was this gremlin last year.
Yeah, and then that was your Achilles heel coming in, but you made it.
Yeah.
But you're like, I got to eliminate this issue.
So we've had a lot of inside jokes. So Robert and then my friend George, who's helping out last year and this year, we grew up together wrenching on junk, and we just have this inside joke that, like, I'm just not meant to have power steering. So I was saying the new car just needs to be a manual box with like a 21-inch wheel.
Big old school bus wheel.
With big Brody knob, everything.
With a suicide knob on it. Oh, there you go. That'd be great.
And then there's nothing to go wrong.
No, you're right. Go back to basics.
Yeah. Going to the gym and working on my upper body.
We call that Armstrong steering.
Yeah.
That's Armstrong steering at that point.
Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so now let's, you got your steering issues solved, new pumps in, car's running great. What was the next adventure down here at KOH?
We felt like we'd lost a day. That was Thursday because they let you load the course Thursday at noon.
Yep.
So we basically tossed Thursday and worked on the car all night Thursday, worked on the car Friday morning, got the new pump in, and then I think Friday afternoon, right?
It was pretty late because I remember we were talking about going to Cougar, and we were like, it's kind of far still to make it there before night.
That's a long ways from camp.
Yeah.
It's a poke.
But so we picked up Friday where we left off Thursday, essentially, and got a good amount of lap one done.
Yeah, we powered all the way through to Cougar. Went a little past Cougar Buttes. We checked out some lines in there, came up with a good game plan. I think we're going to be money for piles up or anything like that. Which
You can give away our secrets because by the time this airs, it'll be.
Oh, this is live.
This is live. It's already out there.
We've upped our game, Kevin. Come on.
Well, if you talk about it and then we don't do it, then everybody's going to hold you to it. So,
we feel good about Cougar.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So, your impression of the course that you've driven so far, how do you feel about it compared to last year? Is it, because there's been, with all the wreck wheeling that's been going on since COVID started, is this place, I've heard stories that it's a lot more torn up than it had been in the past.
There's a couple things that play into that. One is there are more desert classes this year that raced. In previous years, it was just trophy trucks or T1s.
Right.
But this year they've got T2, they did B1s, B2s. So there were a lot.
Some crazy modified UTVs were out there.
There were a lot more vehicles ripping through the desert, which contributes to course degradation. And then the other thing is, like, we compared this year's course to last year's course because that's really all we have to go off of. It's less total miles, and it's actually more desert miles.
Okay.
So
more high-speed stuff.
Yeah. I've already made the joke. It's not King of the Hammers, it's King of the Whoops.
King of the Whoops.
Really?
well, at least the whole first lap and a lot of the second lap, and then well, not a lot of the second lap. The very first part of the second lap, and then you end on desert again. So.
Oh, you do end on desert in the
we actually finish once we come out of the rock trails. Is then when we go across Emerson Lake Bed.
Oh, no kidding.
And we loop around the far north end of the Marine base.
Okay, so that makes sense because we pre-ran yesterday and going Spooners, down Spooners and up Outer.
Correct.
And that's why. And I thought they were running Spooners the other way, but okay, so that makes sense because Spooners and Outer all ends out there, or one end of those trails are out at the lake bed.
Yeah, last year we came up Spooners and pretty much drove a straight line to the finish.
Okay.
But this year we finished all the rock trails, go around the back side of the Hammers, go across Emerson, across the north end.
Okay.
So once we come out of the last rock trail, which is like Devil's Slide or Hell's Gate or something, we still have
some new ones over
20, 30 miles of desert.
Okay.
So how do you feel about your shock setup then if there's going to be a lot of high-speed stuff?
Yeah, so we pre-ran Desert Lap 1, and Robert could probably explain what we felt.
I remember telling you, I go, man, was it this rough last year? I don't remember it bottoming out this much, you know?
You guys need to go on a diet.
Maybe, yeah, something. But then you hooked up with...
Yeah, so there's a guy out here on the lake bed, McMaster Faber is his Instagram name, and he worked for ADS Shocks for a number of years. Now he started his own business, Shock Talk, and he was out here hustling and had music blaring, and we just walked by and we're like, hey man, we don't have plans for this, but can we do some shock tuning? And he was all about it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, cool dude. He had a good vibe, cool
Really
trailer
So
setup.
grassroots,
Really
just like,
good.
hey, I'm not Shock Jesus. I'm not this guy, but I know my operation with Shock. Good for him.
He's into it. So he told me to bring the car by. He took some pictures of the rear shocks and asked me what it was doing. And basically, we were just blowing through the rear stroke. And once we'd get all the way to bump, compress the tire, it would just unload like violently. So we pulled the rear shocks, gave those to him. He tuned them. I took him for a ride the next morning. He said, "What do you think?" I couldn't believe like the difference he made.
Really?
Yeah, it was incredibly noticeable. And then he said, "Can you feel what the front's doing?" And I said, "Well, based on that question, I feel like you know what the front's doing." And he said, "Yeah, it needs some work too." So he said, "Go pull the front shocks, bring me those." So he's now done front and rear, and the car's like, I mean, it's not one of these brand new cars that's built for the desert, but it's
pretty noticeable.
It's a pretty noticeable improvement.
Yeah.
So do you feel like there's a mile per hour difference that you can take the desert at?
The course that he uses as his little tune session out here, he calls like Pummel Pass or something like that.
Pummel Pass.
And
You're going to get pummeled.
Yeah, he's I've been on it 1,000 times, but I mean, I don't have the only speedometer we have in the car is on the GPS, and I had it off when I was giving him a ride. But I mean, just seat of the pants, I feel like we picked up 10, 15 miles an hour.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Legit.
Yeah,
I mean, because if you're doing a 20-mile stretch in the desert and you're hammer down,
Well, I feel
Hammertown.
like so. I told him, he's like, "What do you think?" And I said, "Well, now we have a new problem." And he's like, "What's that?" And I was like, "It's my vagina." Like before the car, you just drove it in and out of the whoops, like up and down and up and down. And now
you can send it.
If I've got the confidence to put it on top of the whoops,
Woo!
but
Look at Robert's like, he's tightening down his freaking.
Oh, the
thing that
a 4400 car next year. Oh yeah.
The thing that I like is just, I think on race day that's going to give us another level of less fatigue.
Yes.
That's important.
That,
sure.
So that's going to just give us an edge right there, you know.
Well, yeah. What little I have seen, you know, out of the hammer. Yeah, I have no seat time out here during a race, but I'm like, suspension is everything. You know, you could overcompensate for less horsepower and all that stuff, but having really dialed in suspension is absolutely key out here at King of the Hammers.
For sure.
Yeah. And I've never shock tuned before. Like, I mean, I had so much to do to the car in its entire length of my ownership that I pretty much take parts off, fix them, put them back on. So, like, shock tuning to me was always going to come after that. And I always was like, well, the car has some sort of base tune on it from previous owner, previous shock tuners and all that. But, I mean, I've moved stuff around. I moved the radiator to the rear. You know, we've changed some stuff. We went smaller tire. And then, you know, something that's hard to consider from the moto background, but suspension tuning is still even based on, like, driving style.
Right.
So I'm really glad we did it. But I'd never shock tuned before in my life. So it was a cool experience.
Good to learn that stuff.
I mean, that's huge because, I mean, like you say, if you gain 10 or 15 miles per hour, I mean, or more,
Yeah.
that's major. I mean, we'll see big things. It's cool.
Yeah.
So I'm
yeah,
excited.
and something that Carl Shock Talk, cautioned me on as we came back after the last session. He's like, just keep in mind now that what I call the day enders on the course are going to come up that much faster.
Yeah.
So he said those G outs that no car can handle are going to come at you 10, 15 miles an hour faster.
Yeah.
So everywhere on the course that we bury the brakes and kind of do the hang on.
Yep.
That's going to be there that much quicker. So
Jeez. Well,
jeez.
there it is. I mean, so what on the course really kind of concerns you? Is King's Graveyard? Is that a part of your track?
No, not part
that's
of
40.
track.
That's
No.
4,400
So
only.
that's not on your track.
We were kind of hoping it'd be an option line for us.
Yeah.
But
No.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
That's
Honestly, it's not doing anything dumb in the desert and keeping the car alive. Robert's doing a giant head.
It's car
Yeah.
preservation is a huge
for
part of
sure.
this.
Yeah, for
as
sure.
always. Every
Huge
class,
part of this.
Every class.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think a huge contributing factor to our success last year was just keeping the car alive.
So how much, Robert, are you talking Kevin off the ledge? Because I know he has an on-off switch for the gas pedal.
Just gonna send it.
Yeah. So how much are you on comms just going, okay, you got to calm down this area. Let's just, essentially preserve the car.
Well, I mean, he might have a different opinion on what I'm telling him than I think, but it's usually I try to calm him down at the beginning of the race, or anytime we're just getting going. You want to start. You're amped up. You want to go, right?
Keep the heart rate down.
Yeah.
Get the
So
So
anxiety
it's I
level
feel
up.
like it's important at those moments to, no, we should just go slow right now, build up, and then you kind of find your groove, and then we shut up for a while. And then there's moments sometimes where I'm kind of like, hey, you're getting lazy right now. You should pick it up.
Good.
Yeah.
It's the yin and yang, right?
For
And
sure.
that's very key. I mean, it's just like Chris and I on this podcast. I mean, we're not racing, but we have a good rapport, and you got to have that rapport in a car. All these drivers that I talk to and co-drivers, it's like, you got a common goal. Let's get this thing across the finish line, but you need each other's support to make this thing work.
I've said it before, but I think it's to me, it seems really silly when I hear people say "Oh, I sell my co-driver seat to somebody to help offset costs," and I'm I would rather pay to have a good co-driver.
Sure.
And luckily, Robert doesn't charge me, but
Because you couldn't afford them.
I couldn't afford it. But like you said, the yin and the yang, I get amped up and he talks me off the ledge, and on the vice versa, when I start to fall asleep at the wheel and drift off pace, he's like, "Hey man,
Step it on up.
pick it up."
Wake up.
I'm
Wake
getting
up.
bored. Let's put the
Yeah,
hammer
let's
down.
go. Let's crank this thing up. Let's get some Metallica going.
I mean, it's
Damn
hard.
right, AC/DC or whatever.
We were in the car 9 hours last year. For me to stay concentrated and on the gas for 9 hours,
It's brutal.
it's
insane.
brutal. It takes
is.
a lot of pep talk.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you don't have
That's
Super
cool.
Cruise in that thing? Just
Yeah, cruise control.
set Tesla Super Cruise? Just
And I mean, even last
Go.
year, I could tell as the race wore on, you're getting tired. Just in the way the car is driving.
I mean, there's so much, right? There's the physical state of getting. It's like what the Web said it best when they came across the line, and they go, "This is like a 9-hour car wreck," And then the mental aspect of staying focused, keeping your eye on the prize, all that good stuff. I mean, there's so much going on out there, and that's why I love just spectating and having a podcast and talking about this shit rather than actually doing it.
Yeah, you think podcast equipment's expensive?
Oh yeah,
buy
no.
a race car.
This is all we can afford. That's why we're not racing. So, all right. So let's get into. You did all the testing, and then we pre-ran yesterday. I got to catch up with you guys on the trails. We ran.
Hold on.
Back on up. Back it up.
We let you catch up.
Oh, that's right.
catch
That's
up.
right. Well, so this was interesting. So comms were not good, and I'm just going to say my comms were pretty good in
Yeah,
my rig.
we're
'Cause
still
I could
working on
talk,
that.
I could talk to your pit loud and clear. Everybody on your channel was loud and clear, except for you guys who coming in. Hey, and then we had these code names that I had to pick up on because your remote pit. Crew chief is Shirtless Farmer.
That's correct.
Okay, and then and I wasn't in. I don't know if my co-dog Tom was riding right seat with me out there on this trip. And then they were calling for Wino, and I go, and he goes, "Hey, that's you." And I go, "What? Okay, so I'm Wino. I didn't know that was my name assigned to me, but I get it, and I live it, and that's
fits.
me.
It fits.
It fits. It fits. If the shoe fits, wear it. And then you're Archer because your co-dog's here. Last name is
Archer, yeah.
Archer, so
They're
okay.
calling me Archie.
Yeah, Archie. Yeah, so it was Archie out there. So there was a steep learning curve yesterday for me.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Oh, we're still struggling with the calm stuff. I mean, that's just it's probably second most important behind shock tuning, but all I focus on all year, honestly, is making the car work.
Right.
So our program's getting better. We had some goals this year for comms. We didn't quite meet them.
I know a guy.
So
he's a Toyota guy, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's
Tyler,
the problem.
But I know.
And he's not even here.
And he's not even here.
He's not very dedicated.
He's not.
So
he's not. We try.
We're working
we try
on
to
that.
get him in there.
But it's just, I mean, the program's ever evolving.
Oh, sure.
And that's we've identified that as a weakness, is comms.
Well, okay, so that's interesting. I'm gonna because we go down rabbit trails, and I want to get back on track, but I gotta say your camp this year, your pits, and you paired up with Derek.
Yep.
And so you guys got two tents side by side. Your tents are at the back of your pit.
Yep.
You know, it's a killer setup this year.
Yeah,
I like the way it's set up. You got Ryder next to you in the Rock Ranger.
Yeah, Ryder.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
What better name than Ryder Mud Wilder?
I know. I thought that it's like a race name.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby,
Born
exactly.
to be a racer, right?
But I mean, you've got a killer pit this year, and so your game from last year to this year, just as an outsider looking in, has stepped up big time. So
Nice.
that's yeah.
Yeah, it was actually, I got to give credit to Derek, D-Mill with a welder
Right.
on Instagram. But
Sequoia.
we were gonna put our pit tents at the back of our pit and put them next to each other, but he had the brilliant idea of like, hey, why don't we see if the tent company can literally put them together and leave the wall in the middle open? And we've been sharing tools.
Dude, he's got the
advice.
welder. You know, you look on your side of the shop and you got some Craftsman tools and stuff there. But on the right side, there's like all this stuff. I mean, full machine shop on the side.
He's borrowed some stuff from me too.
Okay. No, but anyways, it's a killer setup.
It's a sweet setup. Maybe next year, we can go like triple wide and put Ryder in there.
There you go.
But it's kind of cool that like 3 pits in a row, we have a stock, a modified, and a legend.
Exactly. Yeah, you're representing all 3 classes of every man challenge, and that is cool.
And all we want to do is help each other succeed.
Yeah. No, it is. It's been very, very fun, and that's been the whole Ultra 4 spirit that we talk about. Damn near every podcast,
That's
right?
right.
It's just how everybody helps each other. So let's get back to we did this pre-run yesterday,
Yep.
and we honestly thought, because you went and ran some desert portion, and we said, okay, we're going to go right out to Spooners. So we're sitting out at Spooners, my buddy Tom and I, and we're in contact with RP2 Shirtless Farmer. He's at a remote pit too, and okay, where are they at? Okay, and we're like, okay, we'll just sit here. We're on the course. Brad Lavelle went past us. I'm like, holy shit, okay, this is great. We got a couple other racers going past us. Where the hell are they? Oh, they're on foot in Spooners. Well, what do you mean they're on foot? Did they come up or down? No, they've already been down and they're on foot coming up. Where did you guys pass us? I still don't know to this day.
You blinked.
Apparently, and that's how fast these guys are, Chris.
It's Ultra
they
4
just
Jones,
went
dude.
right
Come on.
past
You
us. Didn't
blinked.
even see them. Poof. Boom.
Yeah, we
Fagizzy.
took the long way out there and we smoked you.
Yeah,
Apparently.
and smoked me. And, we did get a little sidetracked going out because Tom and I started talking. He goes, oh, no, it's down this canyon. I go, no, it's not. And he goes, no, go down that canyon. And I go, no, that's not it. And then we had to backtrack. So I'm going to blame it on my co-driver.
Especially since he's not here to defend himself.
Exactly. So, and I don't think he listens to the podcast either, so it doesn't matter. But anyways, so Tom and I ran Spooners and Outer Limits, down Spooners, up Outer Limits by ourselves. We met a couple other racers. We actually helped a couple other fellow racers out there, winch and stuff, which was fun. And then finally caught up with you back at Remote Pit 2.
Correct. Yeah.
And you said everything was running good. You did find loose something. You were wrenching on something out there.
A couple of the Link jam nuts.
Yeah. It's always been a struggle on those aluminum lower rear links.
And you said they act as a wrench.
They do. So we have these these square aluminum lower rear links.
Yeah.
They look cool.
No,
they're
don't.
unique.
They don't look cool.
I think they look cool.
They don't look cool.
I don't like the way they look.
But I swear that the
3
flat
out of 4.
Yeah.
I swear that the flat edges of those links act like a wrench flat on a rock, and every rock tries to turn the link, which knocks the jam out.
That is a very, very, and it's probably absolutely true. I could buy into that.
It happens every time I rock crawl in that car. They knock the jam out.
that.
So he needs a Lincoln locker on there.
No, he needs round links.
I need round links.
You need round aluminum links. That's what I got on my buggy.
Well, there you go.
And they hold.
But otherwise, no, the car looked good. We honestly did, not to like toot our own horn, but like we did pretty good coming down Spooners and pretty good going up outer limits. We talked about a spot where we might winch, and then we pushed the car through it, and it made it. So
there's some legit shit out there.
Yeah.
I mean, some of these 45. There was a 4500 car and a 4600 car out there, and they both had to winch on outer limits.
I kind of complain about the car being horrible in the desert and stuff, but the minute we get that thing in the rocks, it's so narrow.
Yeah,
it feels good
Works
out
to your
there.
benefit.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
We can fit places that a lot of these big, sexy cars
We're looking
can't.
for the little tight spots.
That's good to get
through.
around people and stuff.
Yeah, we very commonly, I feel like now we see cars hung up in the main line, and we find the little pinch lines and get around them.
Exactly. So the one guy that was stuck, the 4500 car, and he was picking this line, and I'm like, it's not a good line. We're just sitting there waiting, and I'm like, Tom, should we go around him? And he goes, hell yeah, let's get in front, and then they can winch off of us if we need it. You know, but I was respecting the drivers out on the course because they were out there practicing, getting their lines and stuff, so I didn't want to interrupt their shit. And then, so we got ahead of them, and want to hook up a winch? Okay, great, and winched them off, but there are so many different lines out there is my point, and if you know your rig, you know, and you pre-run these trails, you know you could take that line, and that's key.
Yeah.
So, all right, so we get to Remote Pit 2, and then headed up the hillside, and there, for people that have not run this course, and I haven't ran the entire King of the Hammers course, but I've ran portions over the years, there is some serious off-camber, loose, nasty shit out there in between the rock sections that, I mean, I've been four-wheeling since 1990. I've got a capable rig out here, but there's some shit that gets you to your attention.
I know exactly which section you're talking about.
Yeah.
We literally stopped, and I opened every Hammers map trail I had to see what the heck this thing was called.
Right.
It had no name.
No name.
It was on
It's
no
just a
map.
connector.
It was the off camber.
Yeah.
It was hideous.
There's some gnarly shit out there that these people don't see on
And
watching on the YouTube.
It didn't even have a
no name.
Just part of the race course.
Well, and there were
top of Full of Hate, and then we
Yeah.
turned left and went down some other little canyon that didn't even know was there. And
so my co-pilot Tom, him and I have been wheeling forever, and he's riding in that buggy, and I got the oh shit handle, right? And he doesn't get scared. I mean, he knows, you know, and he grabbed that oh shit handle about 5 or 6 times on those off camera, and I'm not gonna lie, I was fucking nervous too. I'm like, okay, if this goes south, this is gonna go south in a hurry and end badly. But we all made it, and it was fine. But I just wanted to point out that there is a lot of stuff that the viewing public, and it's not aired on the YouTubes, that they never see that you know, it's not just about the hard rock trails and shit. These drivers are going through some crazy shit in the middle of the desert that we never see.
Right. Well, I mean, look at that a few years ago when you had the CJ out here and we were coming out of Turkey Claw, then that exit, that going down.
Oh, shit, yeah.
That downhill section.
But that's not part of the course. But yes,
no, I know,
there's a lot of gnarly
But that's
stuff.
what I'm saying. They don't see that
got
stuff,
your
and it's like,
attention.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. So then we went down some rock trails, too, that aren't even, like, named, I don't think.
Yeah.
You know? So it's just, there's being on BOM land, it's sky's the limit out here.
It's really cool
out.
It's really cool out here because, you know, like anybody that's wheeled in the Sierras or anything, you're super familiar with tread lightly and all that. But a lot of the BLM land out here is kind of open.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a designated trail. So you get a lot of people breaking trails, making new trails.
And they get to name them.
And you get to name them. And the stuff that we experience out here is straight legit.
Yeah, it is legit. It is legit.
Well, it seems like every time I've came out here, which hasn't been very much, but there's some trail I've never heard of, and I go, when did that get here?
Yeah.
And it's like, you know.
Well, last night at the shootout at the Rock Coronation, did anybody actually finish that?
I don't know if anybody actually finished that. It was hard to see. The viewing for the Rock Coronation was tough because they were down low. The on-screen, the Jumbotron that was there was good coverage. Obviously, that was part of the live stream was good coverage because we were rewatching that this morning when we were cooking breakfast. But, it was. I don't know if anybody completed it.
So we weren't there to see all that last night.
Yeah. Where were you?
Oh, we ended up.
What happened? Where were you guys?
I don't know. We ended up with a lot of work to do.
I talked to Shirtless Farmer, and I told you exactly where we were at the shootout, and you're like, okay, we'll see what's going on. And then immediately after that, you guys decided to take the car out and pre-run because you got some intel that the qualifying course changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were qualifying today at 11 a.m. time slot. And so let's talk about what happened last night to today.
So
go.
We went to a driver's meeting for qualifying the other night, and JT Taylor discussed how people that had been practicing the qualifying course had actually been off course.
Oh boy.
So what we thought was our money line, we were kind of worried was maybe now off limits.
Right, because we had ran that line 4 times the previous day.
And you had it dialed.
And we had it dialed.
Yeah.
And it was fast.
So we decided after pre-running the rocks with you that we were already suited up. We were already in the car. UTV qualifying was over. We would come back into Hammertown, jump on the short course, and just make sure that we were still clear.
Perfect.
So we did 1 lap and got up to the rock section and made it up, but it was ugly.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was a creative line, I guess.
Yeah. It wasn't
The new line.
It wasn't pretty, but we got to the top.
Okay.
So I suggested, let's do it one more time.
And we were kind of hee-hawing a little bit. Should we do it again? Should we not do it?
It like now looking back, it's like every time I jumped on the dirt bike one more time.
One more
it
time.
said, I'm gonna go for one more
Yeah,
ride.
yeah, it's always that one
So
more time.
We
and
went out again. I got complacent. I didn't square up the car. I got a bad bounce. Front end slid passenger, and we rolled off the mountain.
Oh boy. On the passenger side.
On the passenger side.
So you kind of barrel rolled a little bit.
Yeah, we ended up, I think it was a 3/4 roll. So I think we went passenger, roof, and then the car came to rest.
And you said it was slow motion.
It was
seemed like it.
You said something.
And you said something to your co-driver. What did you say?
As soon as it was
You knew you were over.
recoverable,
Game over.
I literally just said, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
And then I think we still had time while we were almost all the way over to say it again.
So sorry.
I felt bad.
Sorry.
I'm very happy that Robert's foolish enough to climb in the car with
Right.
me. So my number one goal is never to hurt him.
No. And that is, a lot of drivers talk about that. And it's like the single seat drivers are like, hey, I can't hurt anybody myself. So there's that comfort. But, it's nice having a co-dog there, like you guys talked about earlier, to keep you off the ledge, pump you up, all this stuff. And then, if something like that happens, it's like, okay, sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
That was the first time I'd ever rolled anything.
Really?
Ever?
Yeah, ever.
shoot.
Oh.
Okay.
Welcome to the club.
Hopefully the last time.
Welcome to the club. I've never... wait, I did roll a few things.
I don't think
Lorenzo
it was
rolled
yours.
some shit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even mine. Wait.
I've been passenger in a rollover before, but that was my first time as a driver. So
Really?
yeah.
Okay. Well, you got that out of the way. Look at it
That's
that
the way I'm looking at it.
And
There's
so
a report. There's a donkey driving a buggy on the trail right now.
there it is.
What an ass.
Shit, I did leave the
Keys
key in the buggy.
Oh shit!
Damn it.
We better run back to camp right
man.
now.
So you not much damage to the car.
No, I told my wife, I was like, somehow the car and Robert and I are okay, and she's like, I'm pretty sure that's like the grace of God, I was like, all right, fair enough. So
And that's funny you mentioned that because my wife goes, well, did it get hurt enough to where you don't have to race now?
Oh boy!
does that mean you get to come home early?
Right?
So you're on your way home now?
So yeah, it sat on its driver's side for 10, 15 minutes. We lost some gas. We lost some tranny fluid. We got it up right, and we realized the antenna was busted off. The passenger mirror was gone. The roof bar on the passenger side didn't look so great. What else?
Need a little
Yeah,
Krylon.
it just kind of caved in that one side a little bit, but not real bad.
Yeah.
So got the car fired up after a few minutes. And actually, honestly, biggest props, praise to Casey Gilbert.
Nice.
Car number 618.
Cool.
He was the first guy to stop, ask us if we were okay, and make an effort to help us.
And this is last night at...
It was dark. It was dark. We had the lights on.
And there was a bunch of guys out there that were trying to run. It wasn't like we were out there
and
by
you're sitting
ourselves.
on your freaking side, and people are driving past you, but Casey stopped. And
Casey
stopped. Do you need help?
Yep.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
And he's got, a limited amount of time to run right then?
Sure.
So he's taking time out of his day.
Sure.
He's a big guy in the sport.
Oh,
so
heck yeah.
I was really honored, and I made an effort to shake his hand and tell him thank you very much for doing the right thing and stopping. So.
Wow. So, so you uprighted the car, got back to camp, and kind of assessed the situation. So, I talked to you. So you guys worked on it last night till how late?
Yeah, our plan was to run the course a couple of times, come back in, park the car,
right,
load the chase truck up, and head out to meet you guys at the shootout / coronation. But everybody understood the mood I was in.
Right.
And I just said, I'm not going anywhere tonight. And we just shredded the car. We pulled all the skins. We pulled the belly skids.
Just to check everything, yeah.
I just didn't think it unlikely that we broke a transmount, that who knows what, bent an axle, spindle, something. So I didn't want to take anything for granted. So we shredded the car. We put it up on jack stands. We made sure nothing was bent. And, we might have missed something. We have some time now to look it over more, but it really honestly looked pretty good considering the tumble we took.
Good.
So then mentally, I spoke to you this morning and I could tell something was wrong, and you're like, dude, we rolled the car last night. And I'm like, holy hell. So going to bed last night knowing that the car was okay.
So we went through the car, and then I told Robert, I said, I really want to get back on the horse and do it again, but we're not allowed to. So, every time I've ever crashed on like a motocross track on a jump, you get right back on the bike and go do it again. Because if you go home not doing that double, triple, whatever, you're never going to do it
that's a mental thing.
It's a mental thing.
Right.
So we couldn't go drive it again, but I said, grab a flashlight and let's go walk up there.
So you went and walked the course, you and Robert last night. Okay, after
10?
It was about 10, and we spent a good hour out there.
Wow.
Walking the whole thing.
We tried to recreate what we did.
Okay.
Why we shouldn't have done it.
Did you guys roll over like Ricky Bobby and stuff? I'm on fire.
I'm on fire.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Robert can probably chime in on.
Yeah, we just just tried to really put it in our head where we went, what we did, what maybe caused that to happen, and then
What not to do.
Learn from the mistakes.
And then try to have a plan, and then and while we were out there, we ran a couple other guys that ended up coming out there to do the same thing, and talked with them for a little while, got their perspective, and then they left, and we secretly made our plan.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, we kept going with it, and it happens. This was my first time ever qualifying in an Ultra 4 event.
Right.
We've raced twice, and due to circumstances, we've never actually made a qualifying pass.
So you did Ridgecrest, and then you did KOH last year, and here you are a year later, KOH, your second KOH, your third Ultra 4 race.
Correct.
First qualifying run.
Yeah. So, it's nerve-wracking enough in and of itself, but when your last practice pass, you tumble the car off the mountain, that really messes with you.
It screws with you mentally.
Really
Yeah.
And then just looking at that course that night afterward with flashlights, you're going, man, this seems way worse than
I kind of wonder.
car.
So was that beneficial, or maybe that screwed with you even more?
It helped because we very, very clearly made a commitment. These are our points. Hit these points.
Okay.
Yep.
Do this. Do that. Commit. Don't think about it. Stick to the plan. Stick to the plan.
Right.
And that was important. But the problem is when you walk that thing, it is hideous.
It's pretty nasty. I was surprised for a qualifying course.
Yeah, well,
it's a legit rock face.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's the thing. You get out on these trails, and just like we were talking about earlier, some of these off-camera stuff that nobody ever sees, it's hard to describe. But until you get out there in a vehicle, regardless of the vehicle that it is, it's freaking insane. Yeah. So, you guys go to bed last night.
Yeah, I went.
Wake up this morning, cup of coffee, and go, okay, it's qualifying day, 11 a.m., car's ready.
Yep.
Yeah, a little bit of work.
We were honest to goodness, we were doing things up until the last minute. Robert welded the passenger mirror back together, and I was having rugged radios make me a brand new coax cable for the antenna.
Right.
So like we literally put the last zip tie in, jumped in the car, tried to warm up the axles, and got in line.
Wow.
So I mean, my heart rate was through the roof,
which might have been good because mentally you're just concentrating on getting the car going and not mind effing yourself of the track, right? Yeah. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm just a podcast host.
Well, I think we were joking about it in line and we felt this last year, is like you get so rushed, you get the pump up, right? Like, we're going to do this, right?
Right.
And then you end up sitting in line for an hour and a half.
Well, that's it.
Right. So you have time to come down,
So I spoke to you roughly 2 hours before your qualifying time, maybe an hour and 45 minutes, whatever it was. Before 11, and so I'm gathering up our crew from the camp and going, hey, we got to go watch Ultra4Jones qualify and stuff. So we were able to sneak into the we somewhat invited into the Tribe 16 booth there, which was right near the start-finish line, and they're super cool. And we watched you, so I said, hey, we got to freaking make visual contact, and you were in there all arm pumps and everything, and that was cool. So it was fun to be there and watch you guys take off from the line. And we were timing cars to see, kind of what lap times were, just over 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I told Caleb, I go, hey, you need to let me know at a minute 50 on track because I want to catch you guys going over the last jump. So we caught you on video there. But you were stoked. You had a great run. We don't know where you finished yet.
Yeah, it's hard because they put most of the big boys. So we qualified at the 11 a.m. hour, and they put a lot of the cool guys in the 4 o'clock power hour.
Right.
So you got to think there's some heavy hitters still coming.
Sure.
And I honestly still don't even know where we fell after our time, but we talked about my car's not good at jumping. It's not good at turning. So just do all that stuff safe. But if we could one-shot that rock line, because a lot of guys had to back
you did.
up. Yeah.
We crushed it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I literally felt like it was a game of Plinko. I was
Plinko.
I was sawing that steering wheel, and I swear we bounced left and right and left and right, and I thought we were toast.
Yeah, there was one time at the top where I thought it was going to slide for a second.
I thought we were done.
It's that loose.
It's so bad.
Yeah. So you guys make it to the top. Was there fist pumps?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because we had said when we walked it the night before, I said if we can get to this 180 hairpin at the top,
we're good.
We're good.
We're golden.
So we rounded the top, and I don't even know what expletives Robert dropped, but it was...
It was legit.
It was legit. We got over that.
And then it was... All right, calm down.
Now we got another mile to go, or what? What is the qualifying lap? How long is it? A little over a mile.
Honest distance-wise, I don't...
1.3, 1.4
I don't
or
know.
something? I don't know.
It can't be very
sure
far.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I feel like it can't be more than 2 months.
But after you do that rock face, you've got some deep whoops that you could probably auger the car in on. You've got one more up and over through that Bronco arch.
Right, the Bronco arch.
And then you've got another
the
turn.
Dodge arch.
You could, probably
lay
roll
it over.
Yeah, you could lay it over.
Yeah.
So
those,
we just
turns,
kept it together and
That's cool.
brought it
That's
home.
so cool.
Brought it home.
Yeah, and so we ran over your camp. Obviously, you got here 15 minutes before us because you were driving, but you were still on cloud 9 by the time we got here. That was cool. See you guys.
Yeah.
All my cumulative emotions,
Yeah.
when we pulled in, just hit me. I was not pleased with the night before.
Yeah.
I was not happy in the car up until that moment, and once we got done with it all, it just all
it clicked.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And I mean, all the I gotta say it, the prep, the work that goes into the car, everything, the culmination, right? All your crew getting here on the lake bed, going out pre-running. I mean, all this stuff, and then you get moments like that where you performed, the car performed, everything clicked. We got across the finish line successfully. I mean, that's it, and that's why all those emotions are there, and that's what racing's all about, and this whole community. And then, now which is great. You're sitting in a good position for race day on Friday. You're going to pre-run some more tomorrow.
Yeah, we only got through half up to.
Maybe a third. Yeah, not the whole thing for sure.
All right, so I'm going to try and pre-run with you tomorrow. Try and keep up. We'll see how this goes. But yeah, maybe Chris will be my right seat. We'll see.
Maybe not.
Oh, come on, Chris. Yeah, got to get out there.
Yeah, we've got some more rock trails we just want to see. It's good to kind of pre-plan the worst lines, and if nobody's there, run the good lines and stuff like that. And then
you're making notes on your Lowrance GPS and stuff.
That's Archie's world over there.
One fish, two fish.
Yeah, one fish, two fish.
Yeah, yeah. We got the old school fish finder, so yeah, we're working on antiquated technology, but
one fish, two. There are, and they do have markings out on the cars for people that don't know. I mean, all the race miles are marked. There's arrows. There's skull and crossbones when you're coming up to some crazy drop off or whatever, right? An area that could F you up. So in this year, it seems pretty well marked more than more years. Although we got a little lost yesterday, but I don't know. I mean, it's crazy getting out there and and the ruts that are out on that course. That's another thing that the common people just watching on TV don't realize how deep those freaking ruts are burned in. I mean, where you're scraping dips, you know?
Oh yeah. Dragon belly.
Yeah. You can see how they're all planed out in the center in these huge deep ruts. So, it is fun, and that's another cool thing as a spectator and stuff, and come out here for the week of hammers and go out. You can actually run these, these rock trails and the course when it's not race day or people respect obviously the racers that are trying to pre-run and practice, but I mean, I don't know any other motorsport where you can go out and pre-run a racetrack that somebody gets to go run, right?
No, you can't jump on the NASCAR track.
No, not with your Prius or anything that. Okay, so now here we are, Tuesday afternoon, Hammers Week. You are racing on Friday. So we got a pre-run going on. What else? Anything else prep, or I shouldn't say prep-wise with you? What do I say?
We don't
what
prep.
Else are you doing?
We work on our car here.
You just work on your car.
We're all ex-mechanics, and we just work on our car.
Just work on your car, make stuff happen.
So
what's going to happen between now and Friday morning?
We're going to look at the car a little harder this afternoon. I mean, that qualifying run is, man, that's the hardest I beat on the car in 2 full weeks out here.
Good,
so
okay.
I want to make sure we're not overlooking something. So we'll look at the car real hard. And then I'm trying to work the business side of this too. So I got to make some rounds around Hammertown, do a little bit of PR stuff.
Yeah, right. Good.
And then we're going to make sure the car's ready for the rocks tomorrow. We've got, like Robert said, we've got at least half, if not 2/3 of lap 2 still to see.
Yeah, and there's some stuff out there we haven't done before. A couple trails. So
we've never run. So we don't want to take anything for granted. So we're going to try and
leave nothing to chance.
We're going to turn over every rock.
There you go.
With those
literally
with those Nexen Rodian.
Look at
MTXs.
you. There's a good segue right there. The Nexen Rodian. So those tires have worked great to this point, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if somebody told you they weren't worried about switching a component, they're lying too.
Yeah.
So when I switch tires, I mean, that's a change in the program.
Sure.
And I don't like stuff like that. So now that I've driven so much on these tires,
you have the confidence in them already. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really good to hear.
All we're doing now is experimenting with tire pressure just to see what the car works best at.
Mm-hmm.
So where are you at right now?
I'm not going to reveal that.
Oh, okay.
That's trade secret.
Oh, well, there you go.
We're right in the ballpark with everybody else and everything else.
Kevin Jones' secret sauce.
Secret sauce.
You always ask somebody to see if they'll tell you, and then you just
it's
file
funny.
that.
I hear, but it is interesting. I mean, like as a rock crawler, you're running at 5, 6 psi, but a lot of racers are running in that 30 psi range.
And
so
we've talked about this before. Like I like even wreck wheeling. I like wheeling at race pressure because I want to make sure the car always feels the same to me. So we're in the 20s. We're just trying to find that sweet spot.
Great.
But it is, just as a common listener, that's a wreck wheeler. It's like, no, these guys aren't air down because they'd kill tires all day long. At those speeds.
Yeah, you can't.
And the rocks are sharp out here. I mean, crazy sharp. I was in some stuff yesterday, and I'm looking down, and there's like just these daggers, like Indian arrows, like pointing at my tires, and I'm like, I got my plug kit and stuff, but I'm like, I don't want to be plugging a tire today.
No.
So it is gnarly. This desert is relentless. Glad you guys are on track. It's so glad you guys did a great qualifying run today. That sets up the rest of the week.
It does.
You're in a good spot mentally, physically.
Yeah.
Well,
we're doing good.
I just saw Lorenzo driving in on my buggy. Is it okay, Chris, or what are you seeing out there?
I don't know.
Okay, he's coming in to check us out.
It's still on the rubber size down.
We need to get out there before he drinks their Rod and Hammer's bourbon in rye. I don't know.
That rye was pretty special. I
Yeah.
had some the other night.
So, Robert, Kevin, you guys got anything else you want to shout out right now?
No, thanks for interviewing us. I had a great time.
This is fun. Well, thanks for being on. We've had Kevin on several times, but I'm like, hey, can we get your co-dog on?
Yeah,
So we had to.
People always ask me who the mysterious
who's your right seat?
because he's no social media guy.
I got
or
nothing.
Right, but that's all right. Well, that's all right. Archer.
Archie.
Archer.
Code name Archie.
That's
Code
it.
name.
Sweet. Well, good luck on
Yeah,
race
no,
day.
we're good. I mean, a huge thank. Like the sponsor stuff's easy because I hashtag that stuff
Sure.
all the time, and I know everybody that listens to this probably follows me. But there's things and people you can't hashtag, and honestly, it's family. Like,
Right.
my dad's huge in this.
Oh, your dad's great. I'm disappointed he doesn't have the pork chops. This
Yeah,
year.
he changes it up, you know. Our friend, our friend,
signatures.
yeah,
beard.
our friend George, codename Shutterfly, on this trip.
Yeah.
he came out just to shoot photos. He's an incredible resource, and he knows us better than most everybody out here, so he
Yep.
can read through our psyche and tell us things that
Lived
we
with
need.
that guy for
And
4 years.
he spotted the loose nut on the car yesterday on the link, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's
he's
mechanical
a closet. He's an ASC master tech. Like,
Oh,
legit.
really?
Oh, yeah.
too. Oh
Yeah.
shit, that's
Yeah,
good
he
to
just
know.
doesn't like to work
So
on
it's the
cars.
loose nut on the link or the loose
Yeah.
nut behind the wheel?
No, that too.
We all
he did
know that.
find
We all
that,
find that
but
one.
that was
Yeah.
obvious.
No, I mean, people compliment me on mechanical stuff and Robert, but like honestly, George is
the guy.
He's the man.
Okay,
He's the man.
Well, it was fun because he was taking photos yesterday, and I didn't know. You know, he had passed us on a side by side. I didn't know that he was driving the side by side. So we're out in Spooners, and he's doing shots of us, and Tom's like, "Hey, getting shots." I go, "I think that's part of Kevin Jones' crew." And sure enough, we stopped and talked with him,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Yeah." I was waiting for them to come through. So you ditched him and us, so it wasn't just us that
Hey.
knew that you were going 100 miles an hour
try to
through the
keep up.
desert.
Ditching
Try to
everybody.
keep up.
Keep up.
Can't forget about Seth either.
No,
Oh, yeah.
so yeah,
Your crew
you know,
chief.
hashtag shirtless farmer.
Shirtless farmer.
The dude's a madman. I caught him in here the other night with a notepad, just like plotting out race miles
That's
and pit
awesome.
distances.
And that's who you need in that
yeah,
position.
He's really good.
Right on.
It is
and
a
then-
team effort.
And then we got our new team member this year, Andrew.
Oh, Andrew. So Andrew,
right.
who we
Andrew.
met out on Fordyce Creek Trail.
Yes.
Best trail ever. And that was so much fun. And then, through the power of Instagrams and all this networking, right? We meet him on the trail, and then he finds out about Ultra4Jones was out on the trail with
Correct.
us, and hey, I'd be willing to help out. And he's been a good asset to your team as well. So.
Yeah, for sure. He's actually had more to do on his own work.
I
on his
know.
own rig than ours, but
Yeah, he's
the,
right. Well,
the
as we
guy
speak.
is 100% all in, and I'm so thankful.
I love
to
his
have him there.
attitude, and and he's out there putting a new tranny. He broke the bell housing in his automatic transmission, Turbo 350, and he went out and got a new one, and he's doing it on his trailer on the lake bed right now,
Yeah,
which is
hopefully
great.
we drug our feed enough and he's done.
Yeah, you know what? He probably is close to done, and we're gonna go out, and then so hopefully he pre-runs tomorrow.
Yeah.
Him and I and you guys, and Chris here, and maybe Lorenzo will put in the middle of the seat there. I don't know.
Maybe.
We'll see.
He might kick you out and take over. And
But that's fine. That's fine.
I'll jump out.
I'll just hang out and with binoculars and watch the chaos go down.
nice.
Well, guys, thank you for the update. Our next interview with you will be after the race, and hopefully we've got some great news to report that you not only completed, you finished well,
podiumed.
and all this shit came together once again for you. So, Team 518, Ultra4Jones, Robert, Kevin, thank you for your time. I know you got to get back in the garage and check out the car. Love it, man. This is awesome stuff.
Best of
right
luck on
here on the
Friday.
lake bed. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
yeah,
you.
for sure. All right, guys. Well, there it is, Chris. How great was that? We actually got Robert to jump on there, his co-dog,
Yeah, that was great.
and got some insight of the in-car camaraderie, if you will, and everything.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
Absolutely. Two great people.
And it was great to hear their experiences here this week and how they are going through preparing hashtag prep KOH prep. Sorry, Kevin, I had to put that in there.
Wow.
But absolutely, I mean it like we talked about during the podcast, and all these leading up to the lake bed of how many hurdles they've had to jump through to get ready for the event.
Yeah.
And then, here they are, and then they get on the lake bed, they're solving power steering
Yeah,
issues.
yeah, yeah.
they're making it happen. They're running these courses, and then they're like, okay, we got to run the qualifying course that changed on them.
Correct.
JT changed that up a little bit and says, hey, you guys might want to walk that. And so they ran it last night, rolled over.
Yep.
Recovered from the rollover, fixed the car, go out, and literally kicked ass this afternoon.
This morning, nailed.
Well, at 11 a.m.,
the qualifier.
Very cool. 12th position was the last we heard. Obviously, that can change. There's people going through Power Hour as we speak right now.
That's correct.
Justin Hall is qualifying right now as well. So we will see how they end up, but they definitely are going to be starting one of the top 4,800 cars off the line, which is awesome.
For sure.
So very, very cool. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We've got a lot more content coming.
Yes, sir.
We are a day late, but we're not $1 short. So
we might be. We don't know.
There has been a lot going on the lake bed. There may or may not has been a lot of libations consumed. But we are working hard. Feet on the ground, I should say. Foots on the ground. Feet on the ground. Maybe I'm into my second cocktail right now. I'm not sure.
Maybe. So, what's that you're drinking?
That is a weeded Woodford Reserve. Is that what you just poured in my glass? That does not suck.
That is
That is really good.
Damn good.
That is really good. So, all right. So we've got more content coming here. We got to set up for another interview right now that we've been chasing down. We've got to.
It just doesn't end.
We've got 2 more interviews tonight.
We do.
2 more interviews tonight, Chris.
Yeah.
So, hey, how do they reach us? Once again,
we go through our emails. You can. Well, let's start with our website, www.wheelingwineandwhiskey.com.
And you can everything's there.
Everything's there. You can email us, or you can go to our Patreon. Link to our Patreon account there if you want to support us on the become a patron for us. You can also catch us on our emails, Jason at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com or Chris at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. And Lorenzo, he's been popping around doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that, mostly this, and
he's been
not
doing
so much that.
Not so much that. Yeah.
So. And and
then how about we got a little something going on here that we just launched the month of February is
the next giveaway of the Element Fire
Element, not 1 but 2, Chris.
That's correct.
Element
2.
because everybody needs at least 2.
That's right. One in your tow rig and one in your rig.
Well, yeah, for sure. Especially if you own a Dodge, you need it in your tow rig. But kitchen would be good to have. If you got a camper, I mean, there's several places to put these Element fire extinguishers. We're super grateful for getting those from Official Element.
That's right.
Is what they are on Instagram. So if you go to our post that we posted today, February 2nd, it's supposed to come out February 1st.
Well, there's a lot of action going on down here. Sorry about that.
Sorry. So it came out today, February 2nd. Go to that post on IG, Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, all spelled out. And if you are following Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, following Official Element,
that's right,
and then tag 3 friends, you are entered into the contest to win not 1 but 2 Element E50 fire extinguishers that we will ship to you in the lower 48
that's right.
states of United States of America. If you are outside that area,
you're gonna have to.
We will work with you. Yeah. We will work with you, but we can't afford. Lorenzo eats way too much hay and drinks too much bourbon and takes our budget away. So we can't afford to pay for the whole shipping there, but that is a disclaimer. Must be 18 years or older. And our previous winners,
not allowed.
Rhonda and Moderator, cannot enter, or if you can enter, but we're not going to accept that because you've already won.
That's right.
Element fire extinguishers. We got to keep it fair.
That's right.
Level playing field here.
Spread the love.
So spread it up. Tag that post, tag your friends, and looking forward to it. And we got to get ready for another interview. Right meow.
Right meow.
It's coming. They're coming to our camp. Right meow.
And on that note,
all right,
we're out.